Hi, friends. I hope your remote reading life is off to a great start. You're reading more and more, stacking those books up, and working towards your individualized goals. Today, I want to remind you that reading is thinking. Think about why we read, right? We read to enjoy the stories, to go on adventures, to learn something new, and to connect with the characters. If you are not studying the words and the pictures in your book and thinking about what they mean, there is no way you're going to be able to do these things. Today, I want to teach you that reading is thinking, and readers think before they read, while they're reading, and after they're reading. So let's talk about how readers think before they start reading. We already know that readers take a sneak peek. They look at the covers, maybe read the blurb on the back, even take a picture walk, and they start to make predictions about what might happen in the book or what they might learn. They also tap into their prior knowledge. If it's a storybook and they've read a story with those same characters, Piggy and Elephant, for example, they think, what do I already know about these characters? Well, I know Piggy and Gerald are best friends and they like to make each other laugh and help each other out. That can help you to make more predictions. Or if you're reading an informational text, you might say about spiders, you might say, what do I already know about spiders? They make webs, they have 8 legs, and then you can add your new learning to that. Or you might find that something you thought was true actually wasn't true. How about when you're reading? As you're reading, you're going to want to envision it in your mind. Make a mental image in your mind about what's happening. Make connections to the characters and the events in your stories. Reread the important parts, especially if you're noticing that you're confused or something doesn't make sense. Always go back and reread so you're really understanding what's happening in your books. Check your predictions. Is what you thought you were going to learn about or what you thought was going to happen, is that what actually happened in your book? And then ask yourself some questions. Why is the character doing that? How does that help the spider? What other questions does this learning trigger for you? You might even track your thinking with marks like this on Post-its. LOL when something is really funny, question mark when something's confusing to you, a heart to mark your favorite parts, a C for when you made a connection, this reminds me of, an exclamation point for an exciting part, and a star for something that you think is really important. When you're done reading, do we just toss the book aside? Absolutely not. We know that avid readers do something at the end. Some of the things you might be doing, some of the thinking you might be doing when you're done with the book is making connections. What does this remind you of? You might be retelling the events of the story or the facts that you learned. You might be thinking of, what's the author trying to tell me in this story? What's the big or main idea? Or you might be revisiting your favorite part and explaining why you liked that part so much. So let me show you how this is done in both an informational text and a story text. So here's my first passage that I'm going to read. It's called Hide and Seek with Tank. And I see a picture down here of a boy. I'm already thinking, I'm making some predictions. I'm thinking that maybe this bird is Tank, and I think that he might be the boy's pet. Hide and seek with Tank. Maybe the boy will play hide and seek with Tank. Okay, let's go ahead and read. I'm all warmed up now. Hide and seek with Tank. My silly bird Tank is my favorite pet. Oh, I was right, friends. Tank is his pet. Tank and I like to play every day. I hide and Tank seeks out my hiding place. I never hide in the same place. It never takes Tank a long time to find me. Friends, I'm having a connection right now. So I'm going to mark it with a C. This reminds me of when I try to play hide and seek in my house, and my dog always gives away my hiding spot. He comes over and he barks at me, and then everybody finds me. It's so hard to hide with him. Let's go back to reading. I never hide in the same place. It never takes Tank a long time to find me. I pop my head out of my hiding place. I even say his name so that he can find me. He says peekaboo when he finds me. Oh gosh, finds that's really funny to me. He says peekaboo. Tank wants me to give him his favorite treat. I give him the treat that he likes best. His favorite treat is an apple. Okay, so did you notice I made connections as I read? I marked when something made me laugh or I thought it was funny. Now that I'm done, I can do lots of things. I can mark my favorite part. Like I really liked when he said peekaboo because I thought that was funny. I can retell it across my fingers, starting with the characters. The characters are Tank the bird and the boy. The setting, I believe, is in his house. In the beginning, he told us how him and Tank like to play hide and seek, and that he finds a new hiding place, and then Tank finds him and says peekaboo, and in the end, he gives him his favorite treat, the apple. Friends, do you see how I was thinking the whole way through? I got ready to read by tapping into what I already knew, made some predictions. Then in the middle, I made connections. I talked about parts that I thought were funny. And then in the end, I retold the story and marked out my favorite part. I can do the same type of work with informational text. So now I want to say, what do I already know about the topic? So my text is called Hide and Seek Games, and I see photographs here of children. This one looks like he's counting. She looks like she's peeking out from behind a bush, and these children are running. So, what do I already know about hide and seek? Well, I know hide and seek is a game where someone counts and everyone else hides. So now I think this is the boy, he's the seeker and she's the hider. I know that you can play hide and seek inside or outside, and it looks like these friends are playing outside. I'm wondering about this picture down here, though, because I see them running. I'm wondering if there are different ways to play hide and seek. Okay, I think I'm warmed up. Let me go ahead and read my passage. Hide and seek. Children like to play games such as hide and seek together. One child who is it counts as the other children hide. After the child counts, he or she tries to find the hiding children. Children can play the game many different ways. Sometimes the hiding children can run to home base before they are found. This, friends, I'm having a connection because that is actually how we used to play one version of hide and seek where we would try to run back to the tree, which is base. So I'm wondering if that's what these friends were doing. Oh, and I marked up here, children can play the game many different ways. I think that's important to know. That was one of the questions I asked right before I started reading. Okay, there's my connection. Let me go back. The child who is it tries to tag them. Sometimes children who are found help the child who is it find others. Sometimes the game is played in the dark. What kinds of rules will you have next time you play hide and seek? Hey friends, I'm done reading. One of the things I'm going to do right away is think about my answer to the author's question. I have never played hide and seek in the dark. I think that sounds really fun. Maybe I will try that next time. Let me go ahead and retell across my hand, just like I did with my story passage with this informational passage. So my topic in the poem is the game hide and seek. What did I learn about hide and seek? I learned that it's a game. I learned that one child is it and they count while the rest of the children hide. I learned that you can play the game many different ways. One way is that you can have a base that children run to. Another way is once you get found, you help the child who's it find everyone else. And another way you could play it is in the dark. Friends, did you see how I was thinking before, during, and after I was done reading? So remember, today and every day, reading is thinking. As you go off to read, remember before you start reading to take a sneak peek, make predictions. What do you think the book might be about? And then tap into your prior knowledge. What do you already know? Then, as you're reading, create a picture in your mind. Take yourself on that adventure with those characters. Make connections. What does this remind you of? Reread the important parts. Reread when you don't understand. Check your predictions. Were you right? Ask yourself some questions. What are you wondering? And then when you're done, don't toss it aside, but instead make more connections. Retell what you learned or what happened. Think about the author's message, why they wrote it, and decide on the main idea and revisit your favorite part. Hey, friends, happy reading.